Welcome, everybody, to the 2024 Hounds Tales podcast year. I want to thank y'all so much for joining me. I hope everybody had a very Merry Christmas and a good end of the year. Happy New Year to everybody. I just want to thank y'all again for joining me tonight's episode. We are joined by a good friend of mine. He is an absolute pioneer in the dog hunting media side of things. I'll let him introduce himself in the episode as we get going here soon. But on this episode, we talk about Cane Stream Media, Joy Dog Food, and the Elite Handler series. That's a lot of stuff maybe some of y'all aren't too familiar with as far as the Cane Stream and the Elite Handler series. That's more relative to the coonhound side of dog hunting, but it's something that we're looking to hopefully soon bring to our side, to the field trial community and the deer dog community. So I hope y'all enjoy this episode. I think it's a lot of good stuff in here. And the guest is, like I said, an absolute pioneer. So I can't thank him enough for joining. And without further ado, here we go. Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds Tales podcast. This is your home for field trialing and deer dog hunting. It'll be stories and discussions on the world of dog hunting. So let's drop the gate, cast your hounds, and get ready for another episode of the Hounds Tales podcast. Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds Tales podcast. Tonight, I am joined by Josh Michaelis. How you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing good, buddy.
Good deal, good deal. For those that don't know, Josh has a big-time deal going on with some media for the dog hunting community, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. He's also very heavily involved with Joy. But before I take over and tell everybody about yourself, why don't you kind of introduce yourself to everybody listening and let them know who you are and what you do, buddy.
Yeah, I am the owner and operations officer for Cane Stream Media and the Elite Handler series, which has just launched here in the last couple of months. And I'm also a regional sales manager for Joy Dog Food. And just like you, James, I'm a hound guy. I've had hounds since I was probably 5 years old and been doing it ever since. So, yeah, familiar with the hound world, and recently I've been familiar with the hound media world.
Right, right. So you got coon dogs only, right?
Yep. Tree and Walker coon hounds. I got one squirrel dog, but he's a pretty common squirrel dog, so I don't really classify him as a squirrel dog. He's more of a pet that will tree a squirrel on occasion.
Right. So has it always been coon dogs for you, or was it other stuff before the coon dogs?
No, I've had beagles. I've had some running hounds for coyotes here in the Midwest. I'm from North Missouri.
Gotcha.
I'm in love with English setters. I've done that for a while. I've raised and trained Labrador retrievers for when I waterfowl hunt. If it's a working dog, I've usually got some experience with it. I can't think of any other than maybe some of the real hardcore herding dogs.
Gotcha.
But yeah, most of the working dogs I've dabbled in, but coonhounds are my forte.
Gotcha. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, it seems to be just listening to the podcast that you do, the Joy Dog Food podcast, man. You definitely have a knack for it and have a lot of knowledge. It's real for somebody that's never been involved with the coon hunting world. It's been you make it really easy to follow. So anybody out there, y'all make sure that you're following the Joy Dog Food podcast. Fueled by Joy Working Dog Podcast. That's what it's called. If anybody needs to look it up, it's excellent to listen to. And they cover it's not just coon dogs. Y'all do an excellent job of covering all the working dogs out there. So definitely,
we do our best anyway.
Y'all do great. And I know I've been listening. I listened to the one this morning, and excuse me, I'm pretty excited to hear what y'all got coming for 2024. Sounds like y'all got a
Yeah.
good little lineup coming.
It's going to be wild. Going to be wild.
So, you kind of mentioned that you're the regional sales rep for Joy Dog Food. How long have you been, working with Joy, and what all are you involved with everything that they do?
I've been with Joy a little over 2 years. I started out as just an on-the-road sales rep, setting up distributors, setting up dealers, dealing with end customers, stuff like that. And then at that time, I was with Houndsman XP doing the Truth podcast, and we started the Joy podcast. And now, basically, most of my time is dedicated to filming and recording podcasts and doing stuff like that for the media side for both Joy Dog Food and Cane Stream. And so that's kind of my job description now. I guess I'm, as much as it almost makes me puke in my mouth to say it, I'm an influencer.
We got to come up with a different name. I'm like you. That don't even sound right.
I know. I want to be like something I can put on a business card that doesn't say influencer, but really that's kind of what I am now. I still do some sales rep stuff. I've still got my customers from last year that are dealers or are distributors, and I still try to help them as much as I can. And but most of my time is dedicated to filming hunts and filming working dog stuff and shooting documentaries and doing podcasts and stuff like that. And that's kind of where my passion is, aside from hunting. So it's worked out pretty well.
That's awesome, man. You're living my dream. Just so you know, you are living my dream.
I get that a lot.
Yeah,
and,
I'm sure.
I do. It's a dream job. I've got no complaints. When you see these guys, waterfowl hunters are the worst, because I'm still a waterfowl hunter.
Right.
I still love to go shoot some ducks and some geese, and I still love to see a good retriever work. But man, them guys that are doing the Instagram videos about how hard it is and how it's the daily grind and all this stuff, I'm just like, dude, shut up. I used to dig holes in the ground for a living 75 hours a week. I don't want to hear about it. We got it made. I don't want to hear you bitching.
Right. Right. We know the truth. Just you don't even got to play us.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't want to hear about how rough it is, because it ain't rough.
Awesome. So we'll kind of keep with the Joy thing real quick. They have a big following with the dog hunting community, and they're very heavily involved. What all do they do, or what are ways that people can get Joy? If they're looking for a sponsor or something like that for a hunt of any kind. What do they do, and what's a good way to get in contact with somebody about that?
The best thing to do is just get on the website, go to the Contact Us page, and send in an email. There's also, I believe, a form to fill out for any hunt donations or stuff like that, and then that runs through the office. Joy, what people don't understand is Joy is not a huge company. Mm-hmm. Do we have a big footprint? Yes, we do. But we're not a lot of employees. We're still family-owned. We're still working with independent distributors, independent dealers, stuff like that. And so we, per capita, Joy gives way more than any other company. Mm-hmm. For the number of tonnage that dog food that we sell versus what we give away is not comparable to all the other companies.
Right.
And so what people got to understand is there is a process to go through that. And I'm just as guilty. The office gets mad at me too. And by the office, I mean Raylyn and Nick and Wade and Skyler. And Lacey. There's 5 of us in the office. It ain't like it's a big corporate building.
Right.
But they'll get mad at me because someone will send me a text or a Facebook message or something like that. And be like, hey, we need 4 bags of dog food for this, or we need 10 bags of dog food. I'm like, sure. Right. I have a bad habit of not saying no and just giving it all away, because I'm a working dog guy too, and I get it.
Right.
But there is a process to go through. The best thing to do is go to joydogfood.com. All the information is right there, and we'd love to help you out.
Absolutely.
It's what people don't understand is that we do love working dogs, and we have a passion, especially for hounds. Mm-hmm. And That all starts with the owner, Wade Grashwitz, and his son Skyler. And yeah, they like giving back, and that's one of the reasons I went to work for them. But it's an amazing company to work for.
I'm glad you said his last name because I've been looking at it for months trying to figure out how the heck to say it, and
Yeah.
looking at his spelling.
And that may not be right. He just may not have corrected me yet.
Right. Just smile and wave kind of deal and just keep on digging.
That's right. That's right.
So, a lot of people, I've seen it on Facebook a whole lot. They're looking for, and then, well, this would be the kind of last plug for Joy. And like you said, they're a great company. I've been feeding it for, about going on 2 years, I think now, something like that. And I've yet to find any flaws. I've yet to have any issues. And I cannot speak more highly of a Better Dog Food. It truly is a great product, and the fact that it's, like you said, it's family owned and no recalls over the entirety of their being open and being in production is what impresses me the most about it. So
yeah.
But if somebody's looking to get it in their area, maybe they're not available in their area, what's one way that they can reach out and get Joy maybe brought to their area?
The thing about Joy is that we do business with family-owned business as well. And so you're not going to find us in Tractor Supply. You're not going to find us in, a big box store of any kind.
Right.
And that is by design. Will that always be the case? I don't know. Anything could happen 5, 10, 30 years down the road.
Right.
But for right now, what we want to do is we want to do business with independent distributors and independent retailers.
Right.
And the distributors are key because those are the guys that buy a semi-load of dog food at a time. Mm-hmm. 25 tons, 30 tons of dog food at a time. And they are responsible for getting it out to the retailers, to the dealers.
Right.
And so what people don't understand is it's a process, and it's a difficult way to do business.
Right.
Could we sell the Tractor Supply and get the whole nation covered overnight? You bet.
Right.
But that isn't the kind of people that we want to do business with.
Yeah.
We were born and bred in mom and pop stores, and that's where we want to stay. And so it does handcuff people a little bit.
Right.
But there are options. We have a distributor that does ship nationwide, pretty reasonable if a guy orders a ton. And so if you want a ton of dog food, just same way with the website, get on joydogfood.com.
Right.
Send an email, Ray Lynn or Nick or Lacey, they'll get right back to you and give you your options upon getting it. If there's nobody close, if there's not a dealer close. If you have a dealer, an independent feed store, within reasonable driving distance of you, get to their store, tell them you want Joy Dog Food, they can call us. Mm-hmm. And we can get them set up through a distributor as well. So there's ways to get it. Does it ship to your door in the Amazon age? No. And
right.
I know people got to go an extra step to get Joy Dog Food. But the idea behind Joy Dog Food and the synthesis behind Joy Dog Food, I think, is worth that extra effort because you get a quality, American-made, family-owned product, and you can get it. And not only is it all that stuff, but it's also real quality. Right. I mean, it's going to keep your dogs up. They're going to do well even when you're hunting them hard, and you know where your money's going, and that's important in this day and age.
Yep. It's huge, and and we could sit here all day and talk about comparisons and stuff like that. But like the biggest thing that I've noticed is I don't have to feel. I know a lot of people listening. We are. This podcast is mainly centered around deer dogs and the foxhound community. So a lot of people have lots of dogs, and it's bulk. So a lot of people come talk to me, the price. But if you want to do a real comparison, and you could probably sit down and do the math on it, I would almost put money on it that you're not spending, but maybe a couple dollars, if not almost exactly the same amount of money, to a competitor as you would with Joy, that because you don't have to feed as much. I know that
Yeah.
sounds kind of weird
And
listening to and saying, but like you don't have to
yeah,
feed as much joy to get the same results as you do from competitors.
no, the dog's gonna absorb the joy you put in them better than most cheaper brands. But I've been there. I've
Right.
had too many dogs. I've had large packs where I couldn't afford to give, $60, $70 for a bag of dog food.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay too, because our competitors are great companies as well. A
Right.
lot of them are. When you look at the Showtimes and the Prides and the dog food companies like that, we've got no ill will towards them. They're a good product as well. But maybe you got two or three or four dogs that you're competing with, or maybe you got certain dogs that don't do well on one of the other brands. Just get 4 or 5 bags of dog food.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to get a bunch.
That's
Get
true.
them, feed them to your top dogs, or feed them to your hard keepers, and keep your pack healthy. And there's nothing wrong with patronizing another dog food brand as well. We're not
Right.
above that.
Right.
More power to you. We just want to keep because all those companies, they support deer dogs and coon hounds and running dogs and beagles as well.
Right.
And so the companies that support, our lifestyle, we're going to support them too, even though we're competitors. But there's nothing wrong with buying 2 brands of dog food.
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
3.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, yeah, just give it a shot, see what you think, and let the results speak for themselves.
Right, right. Now, I almost forgot. They're actually talking about, and I know there's no timeline with this. We kind of talked about it before we started recording, but there's going to be a new, I guess you'd call it a strain or whatever you want to call it, coming out. Hopefully here in the near future that will really play into. Honestly, I think it's going to play into the deer dog guys' hands. You want to give us a little heads up on that?
Yeah. For folks that don't know, Joy and High Standard, for the most part, are basically the same dog food. They're made in the same plant. They're just put in different bags, and High Standard ships out west, Joy ships out east. And so you're looking at things west of where I'm at. Normally it's High Standard. When you get into California, Idaho, Nevada, New Mexico, all that stuff, it's usually High Standard. But High Standard has one formula that Joy does not have, and that's a 2316. It's a beef-based formula. I've fed it. I've used it on dogs, especially in the summertime, and it's a great dog food. Great dog food. So what we're looking to do is we're looking to put that in the Joy bag. We're going to try to keep the cost down as much as possible, and it's going to be kind of a low-cost alternative, and it's going to be great for guys with large packs. It's still going to be a very quality dog food. You're still going to get to support Joy Dog Food, who does so much for the working dog community, and you're not going to spend a pile of money to do it.
Right.
We're looking forward to it. We're still tweaking it. We're still trying to get it to where, because anything that says Joy on it, we want to make sure is a quality product.
Right, right.
And we don't want to just make it cheap.
Yeah.
We want to make it cheap. We want to make it cheaper and, really effective and a quality product. So we're still working on it, but it should come out in the future. You look at some of our, because the fat to protein content and the labels on the bags are sometimes misleading. Our maintenance 2212 is a low cost alternative too, and it feeds better than a lot of dog food.
Right.
It's good about keeping your weight on your dog, and it's good about maintaining a dog's health, and has all the vitamins, minerals, all that stuff in it a dog needs. So we have that low cost alternative now, but I think the 2316 is just going to knock it up just a touch and make it a little better, and it's for the deer dog guys
I was
and the
going to
hog
say
dog
that's
guys
going to
down
be
south.
perfect for those guys. Perfect.
Yes, they're going to love it. It's going to maintain their dogs well, and they're not going to spend an absolute pile, especially when, there's off season for these guys.
Right, right.
There's time where these dogs aren't getting hunted 5 or 6, 7 nights a week.
Right.
And that 2316 is going to be perfect for those situations too.
Yep.
And so I've fed it personally. I've fed it on dogs in the summer, and I fed it on dogs that were a higher metabolism dog that, seems to maintain weight well and easy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great product. And everybody's going to love it. It's going to be a little cheaper. And it's going to be a good product for those guys with, 15, 20 dogs.
Right.
And that's really the market that we're looking for.
I can't wait. I can't wait for it to come out because I'm definitely digging to try it. So y'all be on the lookout for that, everybody out there listening. So hopefully
that'll be called Joy Premium.
Premium. Okay, gotcha. And
Yep.
you said a green bag is what we're looking for, probably.
White bag.
White bag. Okay. All right. Gotcha.
Yep.
I knew you had said a color, but it's been so long since we talked about it, I couldn't remember what color it was.
Yeah, no, the green bag is the special meal, and that is that's a mainstay in the Joy line. So we're not gonna interrupt the green with the premium.
Yep. Nope. I don't blame you. Yeah. Don't change what's working. Right.
That's right.
All right, so let's move into these next two little topics. I'm pretty excited to talk to you about these. A lot of my guys that are listening on this podcast may not follow the coon dog world, but I think this rolls over into like the working dog, especially the last topic. So the first one, let's talk about the Elite Handler Series. What can you tell us about that, man? I know that's a loaded question. It's a lot going on with it, but everything that I'm seeing in it it's got me hooked. I'm following it like a freaking hawk.
The Elite Handler Series is, it's a promotion. It's not a kennel club. It's not anything like that. It's just to highlight the handlers.
Mm-hmm.
These handlers that are competing for trucks and competing for $100,000 on a weekend and stuff. These are special guys, and not a lot of folks see it like I do because I've been around it so long.
Right.
But I wanted to highlight those guys because some of them are real unique characters. Some of them are such talented dog men that it seems like you could give them a poodle and all of a sudden they'll make a world champion out of it.
Right.
And so we wanted to get a promotion where, we treat it kind of like an MMA or boxing or, combat sports, something like that, where there's a top 10 list and there's a world champion and everybody's vying for that title.
Right.
And so that's what we did. All the hunts are head to head. We made a special rule set for it. We wrap that around with Cane Stream Media, who covers it, and we televise it for people. And so far, we've had one event go live. We've got 2 events scheduled here in the next 3 weeks, and they've all went off without a hitch. Everybody's loved it. They're only going to get better from there, but it's going to be fun. The kennel clubs, they do a great job, and we don't want to take away from them. So we had to find something for Cane Stream, and I think the head-to-head matchups between these top handlers are not only good for the sport, but they're also good for viewers, and the viewers seem to love it. So far, so good.
I mean, I watched the Ward versus Bell episode, and that was just, man, I messed up, and I started watching it at work, and I ended up having to cut it off and wait till I got somewhere where I could actually pay attention to it. I mean, you did a heck of a job, man. It really did. It drew me in, and for those that don't understand, because I don't speak coon hunting. I don't know. I've never been.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about it. But you made it very easy to follow, and there's a lot of information in the videos. And if there's if you really are interested in getting involved with the coon hunting stuff, the podcast the Joy Dog Food podcast and stuff has been a great little piece that has helped me understand a lot. And like you said, and with the like in the video, I think I texted you the other day about it, was my favorite thing is you kept the points down in the corner.
Yep.
That made a huge difference for me to being able to follow it.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah, and see, coon hunters love live streams.
Right.
They love it. But nobody else other than coon hunters knows what the F is going on during that whole time.
Right.
Even sometimes I'm a coon hunter and I'll get on there and be like, what are they doing? And they're just walking through the woods going in the brush.
Yep.
And so we thought it was important because we don't want just coon hunters to watch this. And we realize that the first few months, that's all that's going to watch it is guys like yourself that are working dog enthusiasts or coon hunters or stuff like that. But eventually, this stuff is going to move into households that have no idea what a coon hound is.
Right.
And that's the goal with the Elite Handler Series and Cane Stream Media both. And that's the best way to promote the sport. You know just as well as I do, James, the pressure that we're all under to do things the right way and to do things to where people kind of understand us. But on the flip side of that, a lot of these guys don't care if they're understood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just want to go win coon hunts, or
Right.
they want to go shoot deer in front of their dogs, or
Yep.
they just want to go hang out with their family and have a good day outdoors.
Right.
But we're going to have to bring this stuff to the general public, or otherwise we're in deep shit.
Yep.
Pardon my French.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the truth. It's the truth. You know, I
Yeah.
had a conversation with a guy the other day, and it was like, you know, his point was all dog hunting should be kept off of social media. And I'm like, so me and him, I messaged him, and I was like, you know, let's debate on this. I say, if we don't explain to people and show people the good side
Yeah.
of this stuff, then all it's left to believe is what they want to believe.
Yeah.
So,
And that gives people the opportunity to do just the good side, because there are some bad sides to our sports.
of course,
There's some guys that do some stupid stuff.
right.
And that's not the whole. That's a very small minority of the hound hunting community. And but in this day and age with social media and everything, that's what gets highlighted.
Right.
And so let's find some way to highlight the good, and get that into the people's homes,
Right.
and then realize that that's a majority. And then eventually you get these folks on our side, because that's great that coon hunters watch what I'm doing. But I realize that that's not what's important. What I want is somebody in a suburban environment, some housewife with a couple Labradoodles on her couch that's a fur mom, to watch this and be like, you know, this is cool. These
Right.
guys are just folks. They're just doing what they love, and they're outdoors, and they're exercising, and they're doing whatever, you know, and they love their animals.
Right.
And that's more important to me than just getting a coon hunter to watch.
Right. I mean, like, I think me and you've talked about it before. Maybe you even said it on one of your podcasts and stuff like that. And I think you said that everybody that's, you know, the coon hunter or a deer dog hunter or whatever, we already know.
Yeah, exactly.
We know. And that's, you know, that's one of the big things of the argument of, oh, it's our heritage. You know, when you go to these meetings that are trying to save the sport, they already know it's our heritage. They know. They don't care. If we don't start proving that there is good in this stuff, then we're going to lose it.
Exactly.
We're going to lose it.
Yep.
So let's touch back real quick on some of the Elite Handler Series stuff real quick before we move into more of the Cane Stream.
Mm-hmm.
The top, what is it? The top 10 list, or what do you got? 20 now?
No, we're at 10. We're still at 10.
Still at 10.
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
There's a top 50 actually. There's 50 handlers,
Right.
and I have them all, but we only release the top 10.
Gotcha. So this is this Elite Handler Series, and I mean, it kind of says it in the name, which is something that's very different from, say, the field trial guys compared to the to the coon dog guys. You know, everybody in the field trial looks at the dog. Yeah, you look at the dog handlers or the kennel, and you know, yeah, that's a good kennel, or man, that's a dog man right there. But in coon hunting, is so much more involvement as a handler, and some of these handlers don't even own the dogs that they're hunting. Correct. So it's really neat that y'all are highlighting the actual people doing the work, not just the dogs. So I guess my question is, what did it take to come up with this top 10 list?
Well, the top 10 list was me picking, because what we did was we got the Elite Handler Series roster.
Right.
And so I contacted everybody on the roster, or most everybody. Like Finley, I didn't contact because he's my best friend. But most people I contacted. I said, look, we want you in the EHS. are you willing to take some head-to-head hunts? Here's the rule set. Here's what we're doing. And everybody but one said yes.
Wow.
And so I take those guys, and then I put them in front of coon hunting media, which coon hunting media is a bigger deal now than it ever has been.
Yeah.
And so I sent them the list. What I did was I picked 30 of the top 10 or something, or 30 of the top 50 or 20 of the top 50, something like that. I said, here's your list. I want you to rank them. And I had no bearing on the top 10.
Right.
What I did is I sent them out to the Coonhound media. There were 5 people that voted on that, and I tallied all the votes, and that's how we got our original top 10. And so we took that original top 10, and then as these events going on internally within Cane Stream Media, which is me and Wade and the folks in the office,
right,
we adjust the rankings as the hunts come out. Because after the initial rankings, the only way to move up or down in the Elite Handler Series is by winning or losing in the Elite Handler Series.
Right.
You look at Billy Bell and Michael Ward.
Yes.
Billy Bell was ranked 10th. Michael Ward was ranked 7th. We had that hunt. We put them together. Billy Bell is your winner. He moves all the way up to 6th. Michael Ward gets knocked out of the top 10. And not long after that hunt was filmed, Michael Ward won a brand new truck. But so that had no bearing on the EHS rankings.
Gotcha.
The only way after the initial rankings to move up or down in the EHS is to win coon hunts in the EHS.
In the EHS.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's such a neat concept. It really is such a neat concept. As long as y'all don't start getting like college football and kind of come up with your own just favoritism thing, we'll be straight. But
I can't take credit for it because it's been done. It just hasn't been done in coon hunt or hound sport.
Gotcha.
I'm a huge mixed martial arts fan. And, I watch One Championship and in the UFC, of course, and in the PFL and Bellator and all that stuff. And they do the same thing.
Right.
They have a top 10. Championships are only decided within the top 10, and guys that string wins together, they have a chance to get in the top 10.
Right.
And so, we've got another hunt coming up on Monday. That is my brother, Jeremy Michaelis versus Zach McGee. And those are guys that are outside the top 10. But maybe a win or two gets one of those guys propelled into the top 10 and gives them a title shot. So who knows?
That's awesome. It's a fascinating concept. So anybody that's on here listening even if you don't coon hunt, I don't coon hunt, like I've said a million times already on this podcast, but it has me drawn in so much. It's so fun to follow, just being able to say, okay, this guy won, this guy, and I don't know these guys, but the more I'm listening, the more I'm watching, the more I'm understanding. It's like you said, it does. Now that you made that reference, it makes a lot of sense. It really does remind you of like a UFC standings and stuff like that. It's such a neat concept.
That is what I can't take credit because that's what it's modeled after.
Gotcha.
And eventually, hopefully we're on ESPN just like the UFC is.
Now, wouldn't that be something? Turn on the TV. That's awesome. And then that's a good roll into Cane Stream Media. What's the idea behind Cane Stream? I know me and you've kind of talked about it a little bit, and you've mentioned it on your podcast. But what's the whole idea behind Cane Stream, and what's y'all's goal?
Well, Cane Stream came first, actually. The concept of Cane Stream Media came probably 2 or 3 months before the Elite Handler Series did, because the idea, like we touched on earlier, is to get this in the homes of people that are not familiar with hound sports or working dog sports of any kind.
Right.
And so to do it properly, we had to wrap an event around the coverage instead of wrapping the coverage around the event. Because it's hard to go cover a coon hunt, a PKC World Championship with 800 dogs in it.
Right.
How do you do that? That's hard. And so we had to wrap some events around, or we had to wrap some coverage around our events that just didn't, wasn't so hard to cover. and a head-to-head format is the best for TV.
Right.
And so that was the idea originally with Cane Stream, is let's cover some hunts, let's get it to where people can enjoy this in their home, and Elite Handler Series came after that. But the purpose of Cane Stream Media is basically, let's get all the, because you could go to a hunt in Virginia right now,
right?
Go to a pen and turn a bunch of dogs loose, and you could sit down with 3 or 4 guys that are in that event right now, and people would just not believe they exist.
Right.
Right. They're just like, holy cow.
Yep.
These are human beings, and this is what they do for fun.
Right.
And most of the world, a good portion of the world would not understand that.
Yep.
But if we can bring it to them, because they're such fantastic individuals.
Right.
99% of them are great.
100%. Yep.
And if we highlight those guys through Cane Stream, and we get it out there into a group of people that are not normally watching hound sports or working dog sports, then we're only going to help the future of our sports and hound hunting in general.
Right.
And so that's the idea of Cane Stream.
Gotcha.
Cane Stream will cover all the EHS events. They'll cover some PKC stuff, some pro sport stuff. The Joy Dog Food Super Hunt will be on Cane Stream, and we will have documentaries. We'll have all kinds of stuff that surround working dogs.
Gotcha.
And that's the idea. We're going to mainstream the sports, and we're going to get it into homes of people that don't normally watch it.
Right. Right. And it's not going to be just a strictly from, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the way you've talked, it's not going to be just strictly coon hunting. You're looking to get into all
we have to get
eventually.
Yeah, we have to get into deer dogs on your side, and squirrel dogs and retrievers and beagles and pointing dogs and herding dogs and all that stuff.
Right. And I think, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm jumping the gun, and maybe I'll get reamed out for this from some of the old heads, but I'm like you. I see working dogs taking a turn. I see them not hiding in the bushes no more, and we're just being quiet and, just get along to go along kind of thing. I see a very good movement heading towards all right, we got a show, we got to promote. And it looks like y'all are taking a big leap and doing an excellent job with that. And, I mean, don't you agree that it does seem like we're making that turn, going the right direction with putting this stuff out there?
No, I agree. And it takes people like me and yourself, and I don't want to seem egotistical or better than thou or whatever, but it takes people like us to bring that stuff up.
Right.
Because a lot of these guys, and I love them, I've been raised by them, I've been around them all my life, but they don't care to have a camera in their face.
Right.
And they don't care to be on a podcast.
Right.
And so it takes a different individual to get that out there for them. And we're not trying to exploit them or anything like that. We're trying to help.
Yes.
And the better they know that, the better we all are.
Right. And I fought that really hard with starting the podcast back up. We did it for a while, and did it with a lot of guys that I knew very well that were willing to come on and talk. And then when I picked it back up, I said, okay, I'm going to start reaching out to legends of the sport, legends and very popular names in the sport, and old heads in the sport. And I've been turned down by a few guys because they're just like, I'm not here for that right now. That's not.
Yeah.
But the more that we do it, and like you just said, the more that we're proving that, all right, we're not going to put anything out there that's detrimental. It's all positive. It's all good. And we're showing the good side of this sport. The more that we're doing that, it seems like the more people are accepting. Like, okay, you know what? All right, I'm good to come on there. Let's do this. Let's talk.
Yep. No, I agree. And I was a nervous wreck when I first started Houndsman XP. And I'm thinking some of these guys won't want to do this. And I was completely surprised at the quality of content I got, because once they trust you, and once they see what you're doing, and once they know why you're doing it, they're a lot more open to it.
Right.
And I've had just today, you look at Billy Bell versus Michael Ward aired today, and I had 25 different handlers call me, let me know that they're ready. When's my hunt? When am I going to be on there?
Right.
And I love that.
Right.
I'm not annoyed by that, or I'm not bothered by that. That's what I want. I want the guys that want to be there. And the more you do it the right way, like you are, the more guys are going to want to be there. And you'll see it. It's a bit of a learning curve for a while,
mm-hmm.
but eventually, one thing, and I don't know if it's the same way with deer dogs, but one thing about coon hunters that they love more than winning money is being recognized.
Right.
And the minute they're recognized, and they deserve it. I've never interviewed anybody or videoed anybody that didn't deserve it. And these guys have worked really hard all their life to get where they're at, and they a lot of them relish the opportunity, and that's awesome. Yep. I like that.
And they should. I know. I mean, even from personal experience, I placed in a 3-day for the first time this year, and I was just I knew the magazine was going to come out with my picture in it. Like, that was what I was looking forward to after that. Like, I know that's not the goal for people, but like you said, that recognition is a whole new. It really does. It means something to people. It really does.
Yep. They should get deserved. They should get some reward for their hard work.
Right. Right. And I think that's something I would love to see covered is the not just the competition side. It's the all right, what is the daily activities of people that have these working dogs? No. What is the training?
Our dog life series is going to be big.
Yep.
It's going to be a lot of inside looks at what's happening, what these guys were doing, how they live their day-to-day life, struggles and trials and tribulations and all that stuff. And I think that's important because people see the John Stricklands in the magazine, or the Michael Wards, or the Dustin Weeds, or the Dual Murphys, or whoever.
Right.
And or even me, the Josh Michaelises that they think are just living, and I'm not complaining. I do a good life, but they think they've all got it made, and all of them started out just like I did. Mm-hmm. Most of them were born dirt poor. They found something that they love, a sport that they loved, and they committed themselves to it. And now, through their hard work and effort, they've been able to succeed in that and get some recognition. And I think that should be highlighted because these guys, you look at Billy Bell and Michael Ward, our first EHS hunt, and none of them were born with a golden spoon.
Right.
Or a silver spoon or whatever it is. They worked really hard to get where they're at, and they feed their families through hounds. That's awesome. I just got off the phone with Shorty Gorham, who went through all kinds of stuff and was a professional bullfighter for the PBR, and then now he's an outfitter out in New Mexico, and he makes his living off hounds. Oh, and those guys are unique. Yeah. And they're no different than a Kobe Bryant or a Tom Brady.
Right.
Or these guys that really struggled and perfected their craft and had some success. Yep. And I think, nobody hates Kobe Bryant. God rest his soul.
Right. Right.
But they'll hate some of those guys that are out there getting some spotlight they're not getting because they don't understand where they come from.
Right. Right. And that makes total sense. I mean, and that's, and, a lot of my guys are hearing this, in the field. I think there's maybe, and I may be out of place saying this, but I think there's only one person in the field trial world that makes his living off of doing off of dogs. I think there's only one.
But if they do it right, if they conduct themselves the way they're supposed to, and they put their minds to it, and they do what you're doing, just promote the sport. Try to get it to where guys can make a living.
Right.
Then eventually, all this other stuff falls in place. It's been done in coon dogs. We're there.
Yes.
We've made it. I make my living with coon dogs. There's all kinds of handlers that make their living with coon dogs. Kennel clubs, the whole works. Squirrel dogs followed right behind us. The squirrel dogs are doing the same thing that we're doing right now.
Right.
Beagles are getting close. Pointing dogs and labs have been there before we were, but a different business model. But yeah, you can get there, but it's hard. It's rough for a while.
I was listening to one of the podcasts, and it was talking about what you just said. These guys are making their living off of it. I told my wife, I said, "Can you believe that these guys are making a living?" She said, "Why the hell don't you own a coon dog?" She said, "Why do you mess with all these stinking fox dogs?" She said, "Go get a damn coon dog, and you can do it all you want to."
Yeah. There you go. There's a lot of guys that do it now.
Oh, man.
You look at, there's probably, I venture to guess, there's not a lot, 15 to 20 handlers that make their living off of it.
Right.
But compared to 10 years ago where there was 3,
right,
that's a lot.
Right.
But there's also all the other side of it. There's everybody at PKC is making a living off of it. Everybody at UKC is making a living off of it.
Right.
The pro sport guys are making a good chunk of change off of it. I am. There's all kinds of. I actually gave a speech at the PKC Youth World Hunt about how you can be a professional hunter now.
Right.
And that option was not available when I was 14 at a youth hunt.
Yep.
But it is now. And so it can be done. You really got to grind.
Well,
and it is.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not easy.
Right.
It might be easier to go make roast beef at Arby's.
Right.
I'm not going to lie.
Right. Well, it's really, I fell in love with this sport. I've only been field trialing. I've been a deer dog man my whole life, but there's no competition side to deer dogs. As of right now, there's nothing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's what I was kind of going to say is like that whole concept has inspired me so much to push this sport to a new level. And I'm just a piss on right now. I understand that, and I'm a lot of guys know me and all that kind of stuff. But whatever, that's not what I'm here for. My goal is to get field trialing and maybe down the road deer dog hunting in the same form as where coon hunting is going. Yeah. And I don't see why it can't be done. It just takes the right people to get it all work together.
Yeah, it can be done.
Yeah.
I've actually, my back screensaver on my phone, I'm looking at right now, it says, "It always seems impossible until it's done."
Right.
And, that's a quote from Nelson Mandela.
That's good. Yeah. I like that. I like that.
Yes. And so, when I first started Big Show Game Calls, mm-hmm. My ex-wife, that's why one of the reasons she's my ex-wife, she's like, "That'll never work."
Right.
And then I started Big Show Productions. And all my buddies were like, "Why are you doing that? Why are you filming coon hunts?" This was back in like 2018, 2017.
Right. "Why are
you filming coon hunts? That don't make any sense." Yep. And then here I am.
Yeah.
It's been a long grind. It's been, I'm guessing, a 15 to 20 year grind. But I'm here.
It's awesome.
And eventually my kid, my son, my daughter, my stepdaughter, they all have the opportunity to do this for a living. If they want to, and they want to put their nose to the grindstone and they really want to work, they can hunt hounds for a living.
Right.
And, I like to think that, my hard work is paved that way. And if folks in the deer dog world want the same thing, all they got to do is put their mind to it and put their nose to the grindstone like everybody in the coonhound world did, or the squirrel dog world, or yep. retrievers, or pointing dogs, and next thing you know, there you are.
Right. Right. But do we all have to get a tiny camper to travel at all these places?
I would suggest it. I love that thing. I'm telling you, it's awesome, James.
Oh my gosh, dude. I watched that episode and I was like, ain't no way in hell I am getting in a tiny camper doing that.
I'm telling you, the last time I went, because I went to Indiana and spent the afternoon with Russ Beller. Right. And I stayed in that thing all week. And I've got it down to a T. There's a few things I need to tweak, but I'm telling you, hot shower, TV, nice warm queen size bed,
That is
and
crazy.
it's not a motel.
That is,
Oh, I'm loving it.
dude. It is insane because look, I'm on the Cane Stream Media's YouTube page and I'm looking at the
Yep.
picture and I'm like listening to you say all that. I'm like, there is no way in hell that all that is in that little thing. There is no
I'm
way.
telling you. Well, the shower goes in a tent off the side of it.
Gotcha.
A heated tent. I've got the shower and all that stuff. Because I mean, when you coon hunt at night, and you walk 7, 8, 9 miles.
Right.
You're not gonna just crawl in bed and go to sleep.
Right.
Some people do, but
Yeah.
those are sleazeballs.
Right.
I've got to have a hot shower.
Yes.
But I've got that figured out. I'm telling you, by the end of this year, I'll know more because I'm going in the month of January. I go from Georgia to South Carolina to East Texas to New Mexico.
Ooh.
And yeah, that'll be about 24 days of whatever's in January of living in that camp.
Ooh. At least you're
And
going
so
south.
by the end of that, I will have a pretty good clue what needs done and what don't in the tiny camper.
Oh my gosh, man! More power to you. I don't know how tall you are, but I'm 6'3", and the thought of a tiny camper makes my knees ache just looking at it.
Hey, it's 80 inches by 50 inches is the
Oh
bed.
well, shoot! Look at that.
Yeah.
I might have to do some digging if I start doing a little bit more traveling. I may have to do a little digging into this thing. Now, if you can
Well,
figure out how to,
I'm trying to get Outbound. I'm trying to get Outbound to sponsor us. So
I was
going to
say,
plug them here too.
the way you're doing, I think you might be working on something here pretty soon. It's looking good.
Outbound Extreme is who I bought the camper off of. It's got air conditioning. It's got heat. It's got a TV. The other night I went to sleep out in the middle of nowhere. I was actually watching some coon hunting, some Ben Sheet stuff on YouTube when I fell asleep.
Right.
On a big TV.
That's awesome.
On a full queen size bed.
That's
after I'd taken a hot shower.
Yeah. That's not too bad then. Now, if we can just figure out how to mount a dog box on that thing, then we'll be set.
That's the thing is I've got my dog box in the truck and I can haul 2 dogs in that reasonable. Right. But with coonhounds, you don't want. I hate putting 2 dogs in the same side of the dog box.
Gotcha.
It's bad for what we do on the competition side. I don't like it. And so I've got to find a way to haul 4 dogs because I want to take everything with me when I leave in January. So I'm working on that this week.
Do a little fabricating.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do some fabricating, and we're going to have to work on the truck and the camper a little bit to get it to get it dialed in to haul 4 dogs.
Right. Well, I can't wait to see what you come up with.
It'll be some hillbilly stuff. I can promise you that. It'll be 2x4s and whatever.
Hey, I do not knock it. Everybody that's seen me at the hunts, man, with my side by side, I got a box price from my side by side, and they were like $1,200. I said, hell on that.
Yeah.
So I went to Lowe's and bought a bundle of 1x2s or 1x3s and made a box for like $35. And it holds every dog I can need. It holds everything I need. It's perfect.
No, I'm about half bougie, but I'm not bougie enough to pay for a lot of stuff I don't need.
Right. Yep. Me and you are in the same boat.
Yeah. I can't get away from them redneck roots.
I love it. Hold on true to them. Don't let them go either.
That's right.
Well, man, that's a lot of information, man. That's good stuff, and I think everybody's going to enjoy listening to that one. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep rocking and rolling. You're paving the way. You're doing really good stuff. It's really awesome to just follow behind and see what you're doing, and it really has been an inspiration for a lot of working dog guys out there. So I can't thank you enough, and anybody that's watching, I'm sure, or listening, excuse me, will look up these guys, Cane Stream Media, Joy Dog Food. Look them all up, YouTube, Facebook, even TikTok. I know you sounded super excited to be on TikTok.
Oh, that was painful. That was painful. I knew it was a necessary evil, but it was painful.
Yep. But make sure, guys, you like and subscribe it helps out so much. It helps viewership. It helps pump those numbers up, and it looks good, and it brings it to more people's attention. So,
Yep.
Josh, thanks for coming on, man. I really do appreciate taking time. I know you're busy as hell, but I definitely appreciate you taking a little bit of time and coming and doing this.
No, we appreciate you, James. And remember, it's hard being a pioneer, and you're it. So keep on doing what you're doing. I'm a big fan, and good job.
I appreciate it, buddy. I appreciate it. So, well, guys, everybody listening, I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I definitely enjoyed this one. Be sure to check us out on all social media platforms, except for Twitter. I don't mess with no Twitter. But for the most part, hit that like, hit that follow, subscribe button, guys. It helps us out. And again, like always, guys, happy hunting.